Hey folks, welcome to the deadline stream of Gameweek 11. I just before I start, I'd like to ask if my volume, if my audio is fine and if the video is clear. Hi Hashit. Uh, Hi Ben. How's it going? So I'm just putting up my team. Yeah, okay. If all's good, we can begin. I'm just putting up my team as it stands. I'll just read it out. Flecken is at home for West Ham is at goal. Cher, Dean, and Udogi. And I also have Botman and Taylor. So it's pretty much a poor defensive lineup right now in my team. And I'm looking to do a defensive transfer this week. Salah, Son, Mbumo, and Diaby in the midfield, and Haaland captain, Watkins and Alvarez as my front. Yeah, I'm happy with my midfield and forward. And in fact, next week again, I'm trying to attack the fixtures and trying to look at forward options, especially the Arsenal attacking options because their fixtures turn good next week, and players like Alvarez and Mbumo, their fixtures turn a little bit tricky. But yeah, that's how I'm looking at right now. Hi Kunal, I'm good. How are you? I hope everything is good. Uh, okay, I'll take questions from now. Hashir, your question is Ariola, Gabriel, Trippier, Gabriel, Cash, Lascelles, Watt-Prowse, Madison, Son, Salah, Haaland, Watkins, Turner, Archer, Kabore, Anderson. Two free transfers suggestions. Um, so I probably look to move on from Ward Prowse because I think he's playing quite deep, and with Alvarez being suspended, I think this week they're probably going to play Ward Prowse and Soshek as the two deepest players, and so that's probably why I probably would think move from Ward Prowse. And if you have the money, you can go to a Mitoma maybe or even a Diaby. But if you need to downgrade, I'd look at someone like a Gordon or Huang for a short term, although Huang's stats are not really appealing. But for a short term, I think he's fine, and so is I think Adingra as well at 5 million. Other than that, I had probably be happy with the team with the midfield. Uh, might be looking at bringing in an Arsenal option next week. So that's something I'll be looking at. So the next question would be team Ariola Turner, Cash, Porro, Trippier, Lamptey, Kabore, Son, Salah, Madison, Palmer, Gordon, Haaland, Alvarez. That's a good team. One free transfer, I'd probably roll the free transfer this week because I think the team is good. The fixtures are fine. You can go ahead start Trippier and Porro for this week and not worry about it too much. The one thing about the defense currently, at least in the landscape, there is not much upside. When Trippier had his good fixtures, there was clear upside in Trippier in owning Trippier. But now the fixtures for Newcastle aren't great, and especially this week, Spurs, Arsenal also have tricky fixtures. So that there's not much upside in defense, other than probably you could say Shimikas because he comes at a very appealing price, but there's not much upside. So that's why I don't see too many defensive transfers being priority this week. Ben Saka or Bowen, yeah, that's a tough one. I think I'd probably bench Bowen because Saka is placed for the better side, and you'd not know how. I think Brentford versus West Ham. Brentford will be keeping the ball, so Bowen is also a good option. Look at any other options in your team and assess. But out of these two, I'd probably bench Bowen, but very reluctantly. Hi Somesh, your team is Raya, Anderson, Gabriel, Romero, Gordon, Douglas Lewis, Salah, captain, Son, Haaland, Watkins, Wissa, benches, Palmer, Van de Ven, and Burn. That's a good team. I probably, I mean, I don't know the transfers you have. I'd probably recommend maybe moving away from Douglas Lewis, maybe either this week or in 2 weeks, because I don't see upside in Douglas Lewis. I think he's been overperforming quite a bit, and he's been scoring a lot of low XG goals, and he's been relying on penalties, and he does play at a deeper role. And I'd probably captain Haaland this week, but that's up to you. That's all I would do. If I have one free transfer, I'd probably roll it because the next week has the better fixtures to target. Should I do Martinelli to Madison? Okay, so Sumedh, I think it could pay off, but from next week onwards, I think Arsenal have really good fixtures. They have Burnley at home, and then they have Brentford away, Wolves at home, Luton away in the next four, and that could play into the hands of Martinelli. But in isolation, Madison is the better player to own, but the fixtures are not great. But yeah, I'd probably do it. If I have Arsenal assets to own for next week, I'd probably do it. If not, I'd probably hold Martinelli and see how the good fixtures turn. And then always, it's not a difficult move to make in the future as well. Start Burn or Taylor. I think it's a tricky one. I'd probably start Taylor because the clean sheet odds for Burnley are a little better than Newcastle. Uh, and Burn doesn't have upside. So that's the only reason. But I don't expect either of them to keep the clean sheet either ways. Yeah, start Burn or Gabriel. Again, start Gabriel. Arsenal has slightly the better defense than Newcastle. Um, Goalkeeper Ariola. Yeah, okay. Where Anshuman is on a break today. I think it's somewhere in midnight for him. So I'm doing it this week. I probably think he'd come back for next week. Start Gabriel, Maguire, or Taylor, Gerard's team. Uh, yeah, I'd probably start Gabriel in this team. I'll maybe bring in a start or bench start or bench list soon. Um, Start Rodri or Mitoma because he has the upside. He has the bet. I mean, he probably has a good fixture as well, so he has the upside, and you probably need to start an attacker over Rodri. Sell someone. I wouldn't sell Mitoma. I'd probably start Mitoma this week, and then he has a Sheffield United home fixture next week as well. So I'd probably wait for that and see and assess because it's a good fixture, good couple of fixtures to hold Mitoma for. What should I do with Gabriel? Yeah, it is quite unlucky that Gabriel did get benched last week. But I'd probably start him this week, and I'd expect him to play more minutes in the coming weeks because Arteta clearly said that he has had players who've been playing a lot of minutes, and that's why there was they had to assess and bench. Similarly, even Odegaard got benched, so I expect Gabriel to come back and start because now earlier when Gabriel was benched in the first three game weeks, it was more of a system which he was looking at that point, playing the invert, making Partey invert from the right. Now Partey is not there, and Zinchenko is continuing to invert from the left. So Zinchenko, I expect to continue to start. So Gabriel will probably come back and play. Should I hold on to Udogi for another week or take a hit and get some other budget defender? I think, as I mentioned, I don't see much upside in defense. I don't see any haul potential for any fixtures this week. And you also have difficult fixtures for the most popularly owned defenders this week, like Arsenal and Newcastle play each other. So I'd not take a hit. If I had a free transfer, I'd probably do Udogi to maybe a Simicast, but or another budget defender, but I wouldn't take a hit. I'd probably hold on to him and expect him to start, if not have a bench player like Taylor come on, like how I am looking at in my team as well. Salah or Haaland, whom to captain? I think Haaland is slightly the better option this week. Both are capably good because they both have money fixtures. But Salah plays away from home, Haaland plays at home to Bournemouth. And the other thing is against Liverpool, Luton would probably play a low block. And Luton are slightly the better defense out of the two bad defenses. And Bournemouth, I expect to be much more open for City, and City would probably score 4 or 5 goals. So I think Haaland is the better captain. Trent, Trippier, Cash, 4 million, 4 million. Diaby, Bowen, Salah, Martinelli, Son, Watkins, Alvarez, 4.5 million. One free transfer, what to do? Yeah, I think you don't have Haaland this week. One thing I'd say is if you want to spend anything more than -4, I'd not probably bring Haaland in. Uh, yeah, I probably roll the free transfer. I don't see many big fixtures to target. Other than that, you have Alvarez and you have Salah. You can captain one of those two, and just hope that Haaland doesn't kill your rank. And just like hope that Alvarez probably outscores him or something. Um, which college did Mitoma go to? I'm not aware of it. But he did a PhD in the art of dribbling, though, which I am aware of, but I'm not sure which college he went to. Start Udogi or Gehi? I'd probably start Gehi this week because he has a Burnley fixture and there's a good chance of Crystal Palace keeping a clean sheet. Bench Diaby or Bowen? That's again a tricky one. I probably bench Diaby in this case because Bowen this season away from home has had 6 goals in 6 games, and Bowen probably this game plays into Burns' hands. Any away game plays into his hands when West Ham do better when they don't have the ball. Gordon or Palmer for James Ward-Prowse? I'd probably go with Palmer because you can get the more money over there. Uh, I don't. I mean, I actually think it's very close between Palmer and Gordon. Uh, Palmer slightly looks like the better players. Gordon slightly has the better fixtures. So I'd probably go with Palmer and keep the extra cash in the bank for other moves. Luis Diaz news. Luis Diaz did train in the last 2 days. No news about how his father is doing, but he did train in the last two games and the last 2 days, and Klopp said it's up to him to make himself available for this game. So if he makes himself available, he could be playing. He could, and again, you don't know if he starts or not. There is a chance of him featuring or even starting this game. Got Cash, Diaby, Watkins, and thinking of getting some of them. Would Diaby to Mitoma? Oh, you keep thinking of getting out some of them. Would Diaby to Mitoma be a good move next week? Diaby also has the Fulham at home fixture. So if you don't have any other move to do around in your team, then probably I think it would be a fine move because Mitoma does have the better fixture as Sheffield United at home. Again, I look at this team this week, how Brighton play, how Aston Villa play, and then assess. Aston Villa at home are a real force this season, so it could be viable holding Diaby also next week. It could backfire. It could also do well, but I'd say wait for this week and then assess next week there. Um, Burn Taylor Lamptey. I'd probably start Taylor, as I said before. Lamptey, I'm not sure if he'll start this game. If he does, then probably I think, but yeah, Everton are not a bad attack this year, and Brighton are a poor defense. They probably won't keep a clean sheet. And again, I don't expect Burn or Taylor to keep a clean sheet as well. The odds for clean sheets are the best for Burnley out of these three teams. That's why I'd probably start Taylor. Thank you, Melon, for liking the stream. Captain Alvarez or Salah? Um, I'd probably captain Salah because he does get. It's pretty close between the two of them. But I would captain Salah because Salah is generally the more reliable option, and he does he's always involved in most of what Liverpool do. But that being said, Alvarez also you could expect him to be involved in the Bournemouth home fixture. If you are brave enough, I think captaining Alvarez is not bad either. I think he's a pretty good differential captain, but being given that Haaland gets most of the chances in certain games, it need not be it couldn't be the best of options. But I think it's very close. I'd probably lean towards Salah, but Alvarez is not a bad option as well. Huang instead of Neto. So one thing I'll just quickly show how Huang is doing this season. So yeah, so you've seen him score 7 goals and has 1 assist, and he has only 2.2 expected goals. So he's overperformed his expected goals by more than 4 goals, and he only has say 0.58 expected goal involvements in all. He's actually underperformed his assists, but that is one thing. He's overperformed his expected goal this season, and the other thing is Neto is not there. So Neto not being there is another problem because I think 5 of his 6 goals for Huang was assisted by Neto. So that's one thing to note. Although his fixtures are pretty good as well. If you can see the fixtures: Sheffield United away, Spurs at home, Fulham away, Arsenal away, Burnley at home, Nottingham Forest at home. 4 of the next fixtures are good. So he could still be a good option, but don't you might not expect him to continue scoring the way he could, but he probably now becomes the most important attacker for them with Neto gone as well. So he could be a good option, but I probably rate Gordon and Palmer as better options in that price bracket, even though they have difficult fixtures because they are involved more. They are involved more in the goals of their teams, and they are in little more attacking teams as well. So that's what I do. What would you do with Diaz? I'd probably sell him because we don't have clear news about how Diaz is doing. So whether he's going to start or not, I'd probably sell him for maybe Bowen or Mbumo or maybe even a Foden. He has a Bournemouth at home fixture this week. Um, why only? Yeah, I mean, just my Twitter handle. So I just kept it. It's been a while since I've kept my Twitter handle as that. Um, Onana, Turner, Trippier, Cash, Udogi, Kabore, White, Diaz, Palmer, Son, Madison, Bowen, Haaland, Watkins, Pedro. Uh, yeah, I think it's a good team. I think you can count on this team for this week, and probably Diaz. I'd sell him for maybe a Foden for this week if it's a if, for a 1 week punt, or if you want it to be a little longer. If you have some cash, I'd probably look to move him to Saka. So maybe you can do a 1 week punt for Foden, and next week you can go for a Saka. Or if you want to downgrade, you can go for a Mitoma or an Embumo as well. Keep or sell Mbumo for Diaby. Keep Mbumo for this week, and probably sell him next week, maybe for Diaby, maybe for Mitoma. Or you can even keep him through the difficult fixtures because you look at Mbumo from game week 14, he has good fixtures. He has very good fixtures. He does have the blank later, but in game week 14, he has Luton at home, Brighton away, Sheffield United away, Arsenal at home, which are good fixtures from an attacking point of view. Start Mitoma or Embumo. That's a tricky one. I think probably I'd lean towards Embumo because he has a home fixture and he's currently in better form. And he also has all the perks of 90 minutes on penalties, on set pieces, and he is the talisman of the team. When's the next best week for wildcard? I think Game Week 12 is not a bad week to wildcard, but I think your team does look good. So you could maybe bring in Arsenal assets for next week and then delay it a little later. Because as you see in the screen as well, in Game Week 18, you have both Man City and Brentford having a blank. So you can navigate till that and maybe dead end in that blank, remove Haaland, remove Mbumo, remove your City and Brentford assets. And in Game Week 19, you can do the wild card because it's also predicted that in Game Week 20, there could be a double game week for City and Brentford. Brentford probably will have Crystal Palace away and City away, while City have a great double fixture, which is Sheffield United home and Brentford at home. So yeah, I'll just before quickly just show you who I'd probably have in the benching order for this week. So I'd say Trippier, I'd start him over anyone for defense, and then I'd probably have Gehi next because he has the Burnley away fixture. Then Gabriel is there. Uh, Taylor, Lamptey, Burn, Udogi. I'm just putting down the fixtures. So what I'm showing over here is from top to bottom. I'd start these players over the other players. Um, Probably I'll have it in this order. Can you just am I missing out on anyone? Play Burn, Gabriel, Lamptey. Share, I think is just an illness. I'd expect him to start this week. Um, Yeah, so this is among the defenders. I think. Do ask me if you think I'm missing out on anyone. Uh, Probably I'd put Udogi over Taylor after Gabriel, and yeah, that's how I'd probably keep my team. Lamptey comes last for me because you're not sure if he'll start. He could come on for a cameo, and they have the worst clean sheet odds. So that's how it is. I'd probably put Share. I think I put Share ahead of Taylor because he has some attacking uh, output. And yeah. So, okay, Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro, I'd probably have him right up there. I think I'll have him after Trippier because he plays for a good team. And there's not terrible clean sheet odds this week, although it could be an attacking game. But he is a pretty attacking player. Udogi, I've kept him down because of his fitness issues. But if he was fit, I'd probably have him ahead as well. Yeah. So just before that, I'll just make my think about my transfer for this week. I think I will be removing Share. So it's between Share and Botman to leave my team this week. and I'm planning to bring in Shimikas. I think that's because I'm doing share because I want to free up some funds to do Alvarez and Embumo to Enkitia and Saka next week. So that's why I'm planning to do this. Otherwise, I would have actually removed Botman. But this is just for the funds to make the moves next week, which I think could be viable. And my defense, I'm little worried about my defense. I hope Udogi comes back fit soon, and Dean is also a iffy player to hold because I think um, yeah, I think over the next few weeks there is a chance for Alex Moreno to come back and take his position. But for now, Alex Moreno hasn't played a single minute this season, and he got injured, and he's got a recurrence of that injury as well. So for the time being, I expect Dean to hold his spot, but there is the potential of Alex Moreno to come back at some time. So Dean, Bartman, and Udogi for now are all sort of issues in my team, but I'm not going to address them this week. I'm expecting either Udogi to play or Taylor to come on. Dean would probably start this week, but later I'd probably look at bringing in a Gabriel whenever I have a chance. But for the next 2 game weeks after this, I'm not going to make a defensive transfer. So share to Shimikas is done, and Shimikas will be starting this week. I'm also looking at either to start Taylor over Udogi or not. That I'll probably leave it to towards later in the next 20 minutes. So that's my transfer for this week, and I'll come back to the questions. So the benching, I'll go back to the benching order, and that's the benching order. Uh, okay, Neto replacements. I think uh, Gordon and Palmer are the first two. If you want some budget, you can go for Palmer. Palmer is good enough. And then I'd probably bring in Huang and Adingra. These are my four options. I'd probably not go anywhere else. Huang comes ahead of Adingra because he's nailed for minutes and he is also going to be the main attacker for Wolves now. Is it necessary to bring in Watkins for Alvarez this week? I don't think it's necessary. Alvarez has a better fixture at home. Maybe assess it next week. Maybe you can look at. There are a few options to bring in next week. There is Watkins. There is Watkins who plays Fulham at home. There's Enkitia who plays Burnley at home and probably starts the next few game weeks. And then there's Darwin Nunez as well. But for this week, I think hold Alvarez, keep him for the Bournemouth home fixture. You probably wouldn't want to remove anyone ahead of a Bournemouth home fixture. What to do with Udogi and Gabriel? Gabriel, keep Gabriel. I probably think he starts this week and continues to start, and it was just a one-off week for him to have rest. Udogi, if you don't have any other transfer to make, I probably remove Udogi. Shimikas is actually number one in my options, and then I probably say Gehi. These are the options to bring in this week. If you don't have the budget for Gehi, if you want to save a point one, I think Mitchell also from Crystal Palace is at 4.5, so you can bring him in. Should I captain Salah or Hurling? Historically, Luton have considered more from most right wingers, Neto, Bowen, Diaby, which falls into Salah's strengths very much, I think. But it's just that Luton probably will have a low block. I still expect Salah to score or assist and return because he's been in terrific form this season. But Haaland just has a home fixture against the bottom four defense in the league, and that just goes without saying that whenever Haaland has a home fixture against the bottom five, bottom six, even bottom 10 in the league, he's pretty much captainable when it comes to like the defenses. So I'm going to captain Haaland this week. But Salah's not a bad captain. I think there's a debate to have, and that's a very good point Atul has raised in the chat. Should I start Trippier or Pedro Porro? I think I've put the list up over here. I probably start Trippier over Pedro Porro because of being more attacking, and even just an attacking return is enough for him to get the bonus points. Udogi, keep or sell. I'll repeat what I said. Udogi, I'd sell if you don't have a transfer to make, but if you don't have any other transfer, any other thing to address, and then I'd probably bring in Sinikas. But if you do, then I'd do that similar to my team. Cash, okay, Cash, I'd probably start him over any of these players. Cash is number one in this. Cash is number one in this list for me for this week. I think he has the best fixture out of all. Coming to best Neto replacements, I just mentioned. I think it would be Gordon, and then Gordon Palmer is very close between them, and then Huang, then Adingra. I have to sell Watkins or Enkitia. Which one? I not want to sell. I probably not sell either of them this week, but it depends on whom you want to bring. If it is for Alvarez, then I'd reluctantly sell Watkins, but I'd still keep them because they have both Watkins and Nketiah have great fixtures next week. Best, yeah. What's the best route for Salah, Haaland or Son? Okay, that's a very tricky question. I think out of Haaland and Son, I'd probably sacrifice Son for now. But yeah, it's very difficult. Maybe I'd go without Salah for this week and remove Haaland next week actually, because 12 after this week for 4 weeks, Haaland doesn't have the great best of fixtures. So I'd probably yeah, in that sense, I'd probably remove Haaland next week and just hope that Salah doesn't really hurt your rank this week. That's where I'd probably say. Start Lamptey. Um, yeah, I think Lamptey is at the end of my list. If you have any other any injured players like Botman, I'd probably then start over him. Or if you have any others injured players in your bench, you probably start Lamptey. But other than that, I think he's in the bottom of the list. -4 to sell Alvarez. No, I don't think so because he has Bournemouth at home, and which is a great fixture. I'd be very reluctant to sell him also, let alone a -4. Um, yeah. So play Burn or Gabriel. You can refer to the list which is there on the screen. I'd start Gabriel over Burn. Saka for Foden. Not this week. Oh, Saka, you want to remove Saka to Foden? I don't hate it. If you don't have any other transfers to do, I could probably do Saka to Foden this week, and you can do the reverse next week. That is if you don't have any transfers to do. Else, I'll just hold Saka is totally fine to hold for this week, and you can just keep him for the best fixtures from next week. Is Alvarez out for Watkins necessary this week? I don't think so. Uh, and yeah, so basically, there I'll just put the best Neto replacements also over here down. Neto replacements. I will have, yeah, so probably Palmer, Gordon, then Huang, Adingra. This is my Neto replacement list, I think, because there have been repeated questions on that. Um, uh, James Ward-Prowse to Eze on a free or hold James Ward-Prowse. Don't have funds to go Mitoma. If you want to, yeah, I think James Ward-Prowse replacements comes close to the same as Neto replacements. For this week, I'd probably not do Eze because you don't. He's just gonna be back. I'm not sure if he'll start this game week, but from next game week, maybe you can do that. You can hold James Ward-Prowse for this week and then do that transfer next week if you think that's viable, or if you want to remove if you have funds from elsewhere to fund Mitoma next week, that would be great as well. Udogi to Simikas, I do it. I do it if you have a free transfer. Okay, we have 15 minutes to the deadline. Just a heads up, and yeah, just ensure you get your teams right, get your bench order right, and get your captains right. So because you'll be locked in soon. Udogi to Anderson and play Anderson, and bench Trippier to roll, or just roll and play Trippier. Just roll and play Trippier. Trippier is totally fine to play this week because one reason is because his attacking ability. The second reason is also there are not too many clean sheet fixtures this week other than probably Liverpool's game and City's game. But they are like City defenders are not a long term hold. If you have Simicast, you can keep him. And Anderson from Crystal Palace, I don't think Anderson is the best option anymore. I'd probably go with Gehi or Mitchell because they are cheaper. They are land. You might need that money elsewhere. Will Crystal Palace take clean sheet? I think they are probably somewhere fifth or sixth best to keep clean sheet in the clean sheet odds this week, and there's a good chance they'll keep a clean sheet. What's the best route for Salah? Yeah, I just mentioned that. I think you probably hold Salah this, like to not go Salah this week and maybe remove Haaland next week. The only reason I'm saying don't remove Son is because in Game Week 13, I think he's the best captain with having Aston Villa at home, which will place into Spurs' style of playing because Spurs are Aston Villa play a high line and Spurs could probably attack that. Yeah, I just put cash in order as well. Okay, I was looking at earlier questions. Now I'm coming back to the later questions. Bruno in or out? I probably think uh, hold Bruno for this week because it's a Fulham away fixture, and the next 3 weeks I'd probably look at United having good fixtures. But if you think and maybe if you think United still don't do well next week, you probably can move on to a Saka. I'd say it's not a forced sell. You don't need to have a -4 or anything. But yeah, that's where I'd say. Rashford replacements come from Rashford replacements, I'd probably say Saka's number one, although he plays Newcastle this week. So I'd probably just hold Rashford this week and move him on to Saka next week. And other than that, if you don't have Son, he probably all like go fix himself as the best pick of this week. I'll just change my screen as well. Go back to the team. Yeah, Haaland for -8. That's a very interesting question because some of us don't have Haaland this week. I'd say not sell a -8 because it's going completely out of the way. One is you are giving away 8 points, and the second is you are removing some good players who have good fixtures as well. So just captain someone else and just like hide behind the sofa when Haaland is playing, and yeah, just be without Haaland for this week. What do you think for Doku? One thing about Doku is I don't think his minutes are assured now because Grealish is back. Grealish started the last game, and there are certain games where Grealish will be looked for ahead of Doku. But like this could be a fixture where Doku could start because of the low block. But since they've gotten 1 week rest, there's a good chance Grealish starts as well. So they could be anything. Play Leno or Ariola. I'd say Ariola because who does Leno play this week? Fulham play Man United. I definitely start Ariola because yeah, I think slightly better save percentage, and I'd expect Man United to score because Fulham are not a great defense. They are improving, but they are still not a great defense. I expect Ariola to do slightly better, although there's not a clean sheet guaranteed over there as well. They play Brentford away, which is not a straightforward fixture. Is Joao Pedro a keep or a sell? I'd say you keep Joao Pedro for probably this week if you have made the bet with Joao Pedro this week. Yeah, it is quite tempting to sell, especially with Nketiah also emerging as an option. Calvert-Lewin, I think, is not a bad option as well. Uh, yeah, so that's where I am. Probably keep him for this week and see if he doesn't start for this week, and then go ahead and sell him next week if you think he's still a problem. Will Lamptey start? Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'll just take a look at. Uh, so what is Lamptey minutes looking like? I don't think he started the last few games. Yeah, so he has not started. He's not started. He's not played any minutes since game week 7. So I don't see him starting, and I see them looking more into a three at the back formation. So I don't see Lamptey start this week. So that's why I think he's last in my list. Coming back, remove Madison and get Saka, but we'll have to degrade Cash to Van de Ven or Shimikas with a back three. Don't do it this week. I think Madison has a better fixture this week, so just hold Madison this week and then look for it next week. Saka's best fixtures come from next week onwards. Then you can look at whom to downgrade and where to downgrade. Free transfer, and I don't have Arsenal assets in the mid. Have Salah, Madison, Haaland, or should I get Nketiah for Archer? Probably again hold the transfer for Arsenal assets this week. It's not Arsenal attacks are not really necessary this week, and their good fixtures start from next week. So you can just then look to maybe sell Madison next week for a Saka or something, or you can get an Nketiah for an Archer that time as well. For this week, just keep your time. You'll get a little more information on that as well. We don't have full clarity on how Gabriel Jesus injury is. There is something that Arteta did mention about Gabriel Jesus, and yeah, what he said was he cannot guarantee his return after the international break, but we could maybe get a little more clarity on that. Do I keep or sell Martinelli? I keep him because next week onwards there are good fixtures. I give him that chance to stay in the team, and he's not a forced sell. Is Adingra a good buy in terms of minutes? He started the last few games. I'll just go to Adingra as well. He started the last few games because ever since March has gone off injured, and he's not done badly. So I had 84, 87, 28, 90, 90, 70. So because he started the last few games, I expect him to start. But again, when it comes to Deserby and Brighton, probably a Roulé over there, and probably um, yeah, there's not going to be like very full assurance of minutes. But yeah, coming to the latest questions, do I start Archer ahead of Palmer? Um, I don't think so. I'd probably start Palmer, even though it's a Tottenham away fixture. I think Chelsea Palmer looked good in the last 2 weeks, and yeah, you probably go with the better attack and more known team. Bench one of Mbumo versus Madison. That's a very difficult one. Uh, Probably I'd bench Mbumo because Madison plays for the better attack, but I very reluctantly do that. I don't think it's a very brave thing to. I think it's a very brave thing to do. I don't think it's an obvious thing to do as well. Gabriel or Burn to transfer out, I'd probably transfer out Burn. Udogi to Gehi, yes, I'd probably do it if you don't have anything else to do because it frees up some funds and Gehi has some good fixtures. Onana Trippier, Turner Trippier, Cash, Udogi, Kabore, White, Diaz, Palmer, Sun, Madison, Bowen, Haaland, Watkins, Pedro. Save wildcard for later, suggest transfers. Um, yeah, I think you'd say. I think I suggested the transfer suggest probably remove Diaz and bring in a Foden for the Bournemouth home fixture, and then look at bringing in Arsenal assets for the next week. I think that's a good option for you. Have Madison? Should I bring in Saka or Son for Rashford? Uh, Probably, I'd say Saka is priority out of those two from next week onwards. But Son, I think, is a must-have as well. So it's a very tricky one. I'd probably edge towards Saka from next week onwards. But if it is this week, then I'd say Son. You can hold Rashford and bring Saka next week. So does Udogi have any chance of starting? He does have a okay chance of starting. I think the reliable journalist from Spurs, Paulo Keys actually mentioned that he has done 8 days and he takes up to 2 weeks for the type of injury he got. So there's a 50-50% for him to chance. The defensive three right now is Burn, Cash, and Simikas. I think it's fine to start Burn ahead of Udogi if he doesn't start. It's just keep your defense because there's not much upside this week. Burn to who I think the best options are Simikas and Gehi. And then yeah, Maguire I think his value is good, but you and the fixtures are good, but United are not keeping too many clean sheets. So I'd probably have him as an enabler, keep play him in certain fixtures. Maybe Fulham away is not a bad fixture to play him, so that could be he could be played over there. Udogi to Gehi, yes, I'd do that. Which would be priority, Huang or Adingra? Huang is little ahead of Adingra. I'll just finally show my benching headache and Neto replacements, which is also Ward-Prowse replacements as well. We have, I think, just about over 5 minutes for the deadline. So just ensure you lock in, you get your benches right. Transfer Burn for who? Again, I'd probably say number one is Simikas and number two is Gay. Captain Salah, if you don't have Haaland, Salah is the best captain. If you have Haaland, I think it's slightly the better captain this week. Next week, degrade Cash to Van de Ven or Simikas or any 4.6 to 4.8 defender, which is better. Um, I think it's something to do next week. I think Gabriel probably would become the best option again next week if he starts this week. And Simikas is not a bad option as well. Van de Ven, the only thing is the fixtures are a little tricky and clean sheets are not guaranteed, and he doesn't offer too much going forward. Gay or Gabriel, whom to keep first on bench? I'd put Gay ahead of Gabriel, just like I put on the screen over here. Okay, yeah. So guys, if you've been viewing this, please hit the like button and to share it with others who think would be interested in such deadline streams and looking at have a lot of questions coming to the deadline stream. Start Maguire or Gabriel. Okay, I'll just add Maguire to the list as well. Because he has a Fulham away fixture. I probably yeah, I think it's a little bit difficult because United haven't been doing really well. But because it's a Fulham away fixture, and this could be a fixture where that there could be something coming back. I probably just say it's. I think it's close between Mega and Gabriel. It's not an obvious start for Gabriel. I could go either way, but I'd say just back the better fixture and start Maguire. But Arsenal are the much better defense, but they're playing Newcastle. Sell Bowen for Diaby slash Douglas Lewis. No, I don't. I wouldn't sell Bowen for Diaby or Douglas Lewis this week. And going forward, Diaby probably, but not Douglas Lewis. And especially this week, I think they have a away fixture as well. There, it's not like at a home fixture. They are not as a force as they are playing at home. Play Kabore or Udogi. I'd say start Udogi and hope Udogi plays because I don't think Kabore or Liverpool is going to keep a clean sheet. Um, Sar or Gabriel, whom to keep first on bench? I'd probably say Gabriel. Will Lamptey start? I don't think so. But if he does, he could start, but I don't think so. Simicas for Udogi or Foden for Diaz? Um, yeah, I'd say Foden for Diaz because of the attacking fixture of Foden, and Udogi has slightly better chance to start. And you have a bench of White. You can have a defense of White, Cash, and Trippier. So I'd say do that. Rashford injury news confirmed. I'm not sure. Let me just take a look at the uh, latest news. Okay, what is said is that Rashford didn't train yesterday due to injury and faced a late fitness test ahead of the game. So that's a late fitness test, and I'm not sure if we've got any early team news. Let me just check. There's just 2 minutes for the deadline though. Um, Just latest news on City. FPL Main Road has just mentioned a few minutes back. I expect some sort of rotation today. I'm thinking he might start Calvin as instead of Rodri because he's one booking away, and Foden is starting too. This is what the information we've got about City, and there are not any leaks about Rashford as well. I'll just check quickly as to that again. Yeah, just the late fitnesses. Then I'd probably not take the risk. I'd sell Rashford. I'd sell Rashford. Start Poro or Luis Poro. Um, Burn to Simicas. Yes, I'd do that. Um, is Palmer going to start? I think he's probably going to start. Play Palmer or Joao Pedro. I'd play Joao Pedro this week because he has slightly the better fixture and there is a decent chance for start because they didn't have any fixture in the midweek. So yeah, this is my team. We are going to get locked in soon. I'm pretty happy with my team. And I'll just take any last minute questions. Guys, lock in your teams and look at the starter bench in descending order, Neto replacements in that order. I think you'd start Pedro over Palmer. Start Briaby or Bowen? I'd start Bowen. And I'd remove Rashford if it's not too late. I think it's too late for now. Sorry, guys, but yeah, it took some while to know that Rashford news. But yeah, we are locked in. Good luck to you guys. I hope you have all. Yeah, good luck, everyone. Thank you, Vatsal, and hope everyone has a good week. Hope for the non-Haaland owners, Haaland doesn't punish you massively, and yeah, so that's about it. And I'm probably going to, yeah, we are locked in. And yeah, hope have a great week, everyone. That's it from today's stream, and we'll be coming back with more content soon. Please hit the like button if you like the stream. Please comment on what you'd like to want better in future streams. And yeah, hit the subscribe button. Please share the please yeah please like the stream and share the videos in the future. We'll be coming back with uh, more content in the coming weeks. Thank you guys. And goodbye. I'm going to end the stream now.